Grenade! Grenade!
Let's face it, grenades are a great force multiplier. They can quickly and safely clear a room of multiple tangos, they can push out entrenched subjects and help make quick work of taking an objective, but they do come at a cost. The classic pea grenade here, that's going to run about $10 a pop. Even the Thunderbees, every time you throw one of them, it's going to cost you about $1.50 to use one of those. And you know, that can make an old bad or even a teenager with limited funds think twice about throwing one. But what if you had a grenade that only cost you about a penny to throw? Would you be more likely to use it then? Absolutely. And that is where the Leviathan Tactical Bangers are going to come into play.
Grenade!
And the red and orange one there, that's what those actually look like. I've been running the orange one for quite a while, giving it a good test, making sure I understood all the intricacies of it before I actually threw in and said, yes, these things are worth the buck. And I'm going to tell you right now, these things are worth the buck. They're really cool, they're really simple to use. As you can see, they come in a rainbow of colors. If I open up this shell, I've got a pink one that you can see right here. And if I open up this one, you can see we've got a purple one right here. I've also seen some great tactical colors. So they've got a beautiful olive drab that I wanted to get for my next one because it blends in more with my whole milsim look that I use. To load them, or actually what they actually shoot, make goes bang, if you look here, is the old school cap gun rings. That's it. That's all you have to buy to go into them, and you can buy these all day long at the Dollar Tree. They cost, in the end, about a penny a pop when you use them. The caps are not terribly loud, but one way that you can make them louder is if you see I've got these stored in a container with some desiccant in it, and the desiccant dries out all that deep south humidity we have here, and it makes them about twice as loud as they really generally are, so it gives a good pop when you get a good hit on them. To load them, all you have to do is take and unscrew the bottom here, and you can see there's an old cap in there that has been fired, so I'm going to take that old cap out, and I'm going to put my new cap actually on this part, this bottom part right here, because that's the easiest way to load it. I'm going to put my new cap on here, just like that. I'm going to hold it in that position, and then I'm going to load it. Now you got to be real steady loading these things, because if the cap falls off, it's not going to work. The way you know if the cap fell off is if you do that, and this head doesn't move, you're good. If the head moves, then that means the cap fell off of it, and you need to take it off and reload it. After that, all you have to do is toss it, and it makes a nice pop. Now, get my thought together here. My son handed that one back to me, and you can see now it's got that wobble in it. That's the type of wobble that I talked about earlier when I said that if you don't get the cap loaded in properly, that's how it's going to wobble. It also wobbles once it's been popped, so you can always tell whether or not your grenade's been popped by whether or not there's a wobble going on. Another cool thing about these grenades is that they all come with their very own molly mount. All you have to do is take the screw out right here, slip that into the molly on your tactical vest, and then screw it all back together, and now you've got a very solid little holder for it that you can easily just grab and chunk whenever you need it. That is a wonderful plus, and it's a big advantage, because I have found that most of the time when I need a grenade, I don't have a lot of time to go digging through a bag or on-snapping pouches and things of that nature. I need it, and I need it now. And it's great to be able to have one right there on my shoulder or on my kit where I can easily grab it and chunk it, and it only takes a millisecond to be able to do that. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the shell casings themselves. Now, you notice that in this shell casing, the head of the grenade goes up into the top of the casing. And it's a very snug fit. It's not going to shake out of there, and that's the way it's supposed to be. If we put in this side, you're going to see it's a loose fit. That's all part of the design of it. And we will, if for some reason you get one and it's not a snug fit, then you can take and put a little piece of paper in between the header grenade and the cap, and that'll do all you need to do with it. We designed, my son and I worked together, mostly him, I just gave pointers, and designed these casings for Leviathan Tactical. Adrian was saying he wanted to have something that he could take and put the grenades into. It just screws together like that, and now you have a nice cool looking grenade. This just gives a little bit more weight and a little bit more that you can throw. Let's see if it'll focus again. There we go. Something more to throw, particularly if you're trying to get it up high over a two-story wall or something of that nature. That's a really big plus with these things. Word of the wise, don't over torque the top on it. Once it gets snug, stop. Ideally these lines, top and bottom, would line up. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If you over torque it too much, you're going to rip the plastic threads out, and then it won't be any good to you. Now I've got one of these already prepped to go, so I'm going to take the purple one here. I'm going to thread it on. You can see our black sheep emblem on the top. Now these are for us because we of course are the black sheep, and Bennett designed these casings. But if you buy one of these from Leviathan, you're going to see that they have the Leviathan Tactical image on top of it instead. And if you flip it over and look up in the top, you're going to see our black sheep emblem hidden in there. Take and go ahead and screw this together. And after that, chunk it. And that's all there is to do it. All it has to do is hit a hard surface. If it hits a hard surface, that grenade's going to go off, and it makes a nice little pop for you. Next thing I want to talk about is the price. How much are these? Well, the individual grenades themselves, they're only $39 and change, which makes, I mean, you really compare that to anything else on the market. A Thunderbee is going to cost you, I believe, $30 before you buy the shells and the CO2 cylinders for it. A Bang 22 is $100, and for $30–40, you're only going to get, what, 4 pea grenades? And then after you make your initial investment, right there, I believe is, let's see, count that, there's 8 cents there roughly. And you have 8 shots off of 1 ring cap to do it with. That's hard to beat. If you wanted to buy the extra casing, you can buy those from Leviathan Tactical as well. That's an extra 20, and I really do encourage you to look at those because they do give a lot more to hold on to and make for a lot better grenade for actually chunking, give some weight to it. Eventually, we're also going to send Adrian and Ted this, which is the belt holder that my son and I worked together to design. Mostly him. Once again, I just gave some pointers, and it allows that grenade to just pop right in there. You can wear it on a tactical belt, and it's not going to go anywhere. And that way, once again, when you need it, you just pop that sucker right out and throw it. We're still finishing up that. We're almost done with it, and then we're going to send that file to them as well. So let's talk about some pros and cons. The pros, obviously the price. The initial investment, that's a little bit of a hit because even just shy of $40, that's still $40, okay? Can y'all hear the cat yowling in the background? She's a nuisance. Ignore her. All right. But after you've made that $40 investment, a penny a pop, folks. I mean, you just about can't beat that anywhere. They're very durable as long as you don't. The only weakness I've ever seen is if you push in on this, like I told you before when you were loading, if you push those two ones together, you're going to strip out the inside. Beyond that, they're very durable. They hold up great. You also have, let's see, they're very lightweight. You're not adding a lot of weight to your kit. The Bang 22s, from what I understand, those suckers are downright heavy. When you carry one of those, you have a lot of oomph there, and you could probably actually hurt some kid if you hit them in the head with those. You hit a kid in the head with this, and they're going to say ow, but that's going to be the worst of it. And they're also very easy to reload. You could even technically, I mean, you could do it on the field in the middle of a game if you want to carry some extra caps with you and you use the one you had. There's nothing to reloading it and putting it back out there. Some cons or weaknesses. First one, it's not really loud. I've had times when people have asked me, did it go off? And it's not extremely loud, but it is definitely louder when you keep your caps in desiccant until you need them. That makes a huge difference on to how loud they are. But as an old dad and also a veteran who has hearing loss from his time in the military with lots of banging and loud engines and everything else, I'm totally cool with it not being loud. I don't like at all these fancy Enola Gay grenades and tag grenades that make your ears ring when they go off. There is no reason in a toy gunfight to cause someone to lose hearing, and these are not going to do that. They're loud enough to make a bang and let people know it's happened, but it's not so loud that you're going to be ticking off parents or causing some little kid to lose hearing down the road. Another weakness I've seen with them is that they have to hit a hard surface. If they hit the grass, if they hit the dirt, they're not going to go off. They're just going to go, yeah, somebody just threw a rock at me. That's about all you're going to get out of it. So if I'm using them in a CQB field, an outdoor CQB field, where there's dirt on the ground, all you have to do is chunk it to where it's going to hit the wall of the building, and it's going to go off. So when I chunk something through a window, I make sure I chunk it hard so it's going to hit that far wall, and once it does that, it'll pop and go off. If you take and chunk it up over, like say you're a Southern Tactical Airsoft game stag, and you chunk one up over onto the second floor, it's going to pop. It's going to go off. There's not any problem with that, because when it hits that hard deck, that's all it takes to trigger it. The last weakness I'm going to warn you about is before you walk out of the shop, make sure you look at the threads here and the threads here, because I have seen some grenades that doesn't work. That's not good on. So check your threads and make sure that the grenade actually screws together properly. If you have good threads and the grenade screws together properly, odds are you're going to be in great shape. But I do encourage you to check those things before you walk out of the shop with it. That's it for the weaknesses. I like them. I think they're wonderful for the bang. You just can't beat it. I've used several of these in games recently. I absolutely love them. You get a lot of bang for your buck in this, pun intended. They're very easy to use. They're even safe for kids to use. If you're interested in these, they're at Leviathan Tactical. Those of you who don't know, Leviathan Tactical is in Pensacola, Florida, off of Underwood Avenue. Just Google them, ask Siri to take you there, ask Alexa to take you there, and go pick yourself up one or two, grab one of the casings to go with it, and eventually, hopefully, they'll even have these belt casings to go as well to help so you can carry it with you. Now, I'm going to log off here and go get the dog some therapy from throwing 2 grenades in the house. She's not real happy with me. Let me know if y'all have any questions and what your thoughts are on this.